All right, and we are now live. Hi, my name is Jake Birdie with MarketingPlayBook.co, where we help small businesses increase their sales and reputation online through digital marketing. And today we got a pretty good show lined out for you. And if you want, you can follow along on the show notes, or if you're listening to this live, you can go ahead and check it out at marketingplaybook.co/episode 13. That's a number 13. Again, that's going to be marketingplaybook.co/episode 13. And there you're going to be able to get all the show notes and see which ones are going. And it looks like we might have a little bit of video resolution issues, but we should still be able to stream just fine. It says that the stream's pretty good. So if there is a video resolution issue, not a big deal. You can just listen to this here. So we do our live Hangouts every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and this is going to be the 13th Hangout that we're doing. And this one is titled, I'm not even sure what it's titled. It's Tracking Leads and Sales for Small Businesses. And, I'll jump into that here in a second. It should be a pretty good show. And one of the biggest issues that most small businesses have, especially service-based businesses, is you're not really able to track your sales and your leads. And that kind of has changed just in the last 2 years because of mobile search. And I'll kind of come into how you can track more of your leads and sales through calls and using dynamic call volume and call forwarding through AdWords and a mix of Google tags and the like. So it'll be pretty informative. And I'm also going to cover some other topics out there that should help you out when it comes to tracking small business leads, because really it's a pretty big issue for a lot of companies out there. Most of them that I run into really have issues with it. Before I do that, though, if you would like to view any of our previous Hangouts that we've done, you can find that over at marketingplaybook.co/live-hangouts. And that's also going to be directly on the marketingplaybook.co website too as well. So if you head over there, you'll see the Live Hangouts button. And if you click on that, you're going to see show notes and lists to all the previous Hangouts that we've done. We've done some pretty good ones, to be honest. So definitely check that out. They're jam-packed with very valuable information, especially for small businesses, especially if you're doing it yourself. You want to make sure that whoever you've hired on to do your digital marketing, to kind of check up to see what they're doing and if they're doing it correctly. It's a great way of doing it. Now, there's always more than one way of doing something. So, just because I do it this way doesn't mean that somebody else who does it another way doesn't mean that they're not doing it right. So if you want, you're going to see down below here in the show box, you can tweet at us. If you have any questions, you can tweet at MKTG Playbook. So if you have any questions during the broadcast, feel free and shoot them over there. And I do have my Twitter feed up, so if you have any live questions, we can go ahead and answer it. If you have a question afterwards, then you can go ahead and go to the show notes page, marketingplaybook.co/episode 13, and there you can go ahead and comment. We also have a community page on the marketingplaybook.co website, and this is important because we have a private Facebook group there. We have a public Facebook page. We also have a Google community, so feel free and join. Right now, the private Facebook group is currently open for people, so you do have to request access, and it is currently free, and anybody who signs up now is going to remain a member for free. The private access is where you can ask those questions that are a little bit more should be a little bit more private. So if you have your specific business, for instance, you don't want to announce that to the entire world. Well, it's a smaller group that you're working with, and we'll be able to answer any questions you have that evolve around digital marketing. And so for today, this is going to have more of a Facebook AdWords focus for tracking sales, but this will work too with Bing ads and a lot of other tracking platforms. And kind of what I said before, several years ago, tracking for small businesses for leads was next to impossible. I remember trying to do, and I was doing paid advertising, PPC and AdWords, and I was generating leads for my business, and I knew my business was generating leads, but I couldn't really tell what keywords were leading to those sales, and there really wasn't any proper funnel that I set up for tracking those sales early on. And here we're going to give you a few ideas of how to do it. Now, if you're an e-commerce based company, it's rather easy. By default, all businesses should already have the Google Webmasters tools up. So you should already have registered with Google Webmasters, which is going to show you your organic search volume and your what you rank for and your position and stuff like that. So Google Webmaster Tools is pretty much needed. You should do Bing Webmasters too as well. And then Google Analytics, and have that Google Analytics integrated in with your AdWords account. And so if that's done, then all of this should work perfectly for you. Really, it's just the AdWords that's needed because that's where you're doing the paid marketing. But you're going to have to set up conversions there. So I'm assuming you know how to create an audience already on either AdWords or Facebook, and I'm assuming you already know how to use a tracking pixel, so the actual conversion pixel. And if not, that's fine. We'll be covering tracking more in depth. I also have trackings in the AdWords search PPC tutorial that we did that's for free out there, so you can always refresh on that too as well. So let's go ahead and dive in here to the some of the main ways of kind of tracking your sales. And again, if you're an e-commerce company, you already can do this rather easily. It's not that big of an issue for you. And let me go ahead and put that on silent. But one of them is email signups. So with an email signup, somebody actually registers and signs up for whatever it is in your business. And from there, on the thank you page that people come to, you're going to go ahead and forward them onto the thank you page or confirmation page. Thank you for signing up to our newsletter. And on that page is where you're actually going to have that pixel fire. So if it was AdWords or Facebook or Bing, for instance, you can actually put in the name of the URL that confirmation page is, and then have that code in on the page. And whenever that fires, it's going to show you what keyword led to that sale or what ad led to that sale, depending upon the platform that you have. Now, I already know, working with small businesses, that not everybody has an email list set up, and I know you're going to get the gurus out there saying everybody needs an email list, everybody needs an email list. The honest truth is no. I mean, some people don't even have to do digital marketing. If they've been established for 40 years and they have all the clients they can handle, they don't really need to advertise. They're already well known. And sure, eventually they'll start losing market share, but that they might be fine with that. They might not necessarily want to sell the business, and it just might not be for them. Sorry, there, took a sip of my coffee. I gotta stay awake. My daughter Reagan is now 11 days old, so I don't know how single parents do it at all. Single mothers, I think it's impossible for them to do. And I'll tell you what, I think all companies now should definitely offer some sort of paternity leave, because I'm telling you, even with both of us here, I'm really tired, and I know my wife's really tired, so it can be quite challenging. But enjoying every minute of it, almost every minute of it, anyways. So yeah, going back to email signups, not everybody necessarily needs an email funnel, but if you have one set up, or if it can be beneficial, definitely do it. So this might be something like, if you're a lawyer, for instance, let's say a divorce lawyer, then it's rather easy to put up some sort of lead capture magnet. So if you're a divorce lawyer, the top 7 things you need to know for your divorce, or before you file for divorce, something along those lines. And then it's just a quick PDF that you give them, and that'll kind of tell you what keywords are working as far as conversions go. And keep in mind, as I go through these multiple different levels of tracking, you can use more than one. You can use multiple different conversion pixels in here. So emails are a great way. Now, again, not all businesses are going to be using email. I know for like a lot of car mechanics out there, and roofing companies, and the like, they can be pretty hard pressed to find out what type of content they can send out on an email newsletter. But email newsletters are relatively cheap. Usually you can go with like MailChimp or Aweber for $11 to $12 a month. Chances are you're not going to surpass the 2,000 emails that they allow you to do. You're not going to surpass that in the first year or so. So I really wouldn't worry too much about it. The costs are relatively low, and all you really have to do is set up an autoresponder to go out initially with whatever it is you're going to give them, and then a few follow-ups, and then from there you can just set up an autoresponder for once a month them to get an email, just so you stay relevant. So it's really not too bad of a way to go for conversion tracking. And this can be used both with service-based companies as well as e-commerce-based companies. And the next step is going to be call tracking. And this really is the one that every service-based company needs to be taken advantage of, and even e-commerce company. So there's a lot of e-commerce companies out there who do not use any sort of call tracking right now, and to me it's really, really frustrating when I look at it, because yes, I know most of your sales come in online, right? But there's still that 20 to 30% that do not come in online. The people who are calling you, and then you're making the sale. So depending upon your average sale amount and how your conversion rate for how many phone calls it takes for you to get a conversion, you can kind of work out your CPA, your cost per action, that you can pay for each and every one of those leads that come into you. And using a Google forwarding number on your website is a fantastic way. So there's two actual different ways of doing this. One of them is going to be, of course, still using the Google forwarding number, but you can do call extensions. So call extensions in AdWords, and I covered this before. And Bing has it too as well, even though it doesn't work nearly as well. Currently it doesn't anyways. But with AdWords and the call extensions, what you're able to do there is when somebody does a search, they're going to see your phone number. And it's going to be using a Google forwarding number. So it won't be your number, but you could choose local or 1-800. It's been my experience, it really doesn't matter. Now, I'm sure there's some areas where it may matter and the local number is better, but in my experience, it really hasn't affected sales at all. So either one of those numbers, and when somebody calls that number, you're going to be able to count that as a conversion. You can set the CPA goal for that of, $1, or maybe it's $10. If your average customer is you make $50 off of, then and you land 1 in 5 phone calls, that would be you can have a CPA of $10 on that phone call. So every phone call you get, you can say, okay, $10. And that way you can optimize towards something. And that's the whole purpose of being able to track, is so you can optimize. If you can't track your digital marketing and you don't know what's making you money and what's losing you money, then you're just throwing the money away. You have no way of knowing, hey, is this working? Is it not working? And so tracking, if you can't track it, don't do it. And that's pretty much the end of it. And doesn't mean that there's not ways of tracking it. And if you're curious and you can't figure out how to set up a funnel or something along those lines, feel free to join our Facebook group, and I'd be happy to try to help you out and try to go through your business with you and see what we can do to set up that funnel. But call tracking is very important. So that's just from the ads themselves. But you can also set up tracking using a Google forwarding number on your website itself, not just for paid traffic, but also for organic traffic. So when somebody comes into your website, let's say through paid traffic, they didn't hit the call extension, but now they landed on your website. What you're able to do with a call forwarding number with Google is some code you put in there on your website with the phone number, and it'll put up a phone number where your other phone number usually would go. And there, when somebody calls that number, it's going to be rerouted to you, and it's going to count as a conversion. And if you have analytics set up, it's going to show as a conversion on analytics for the organic traffic. And then inside AdWords, it's going to show for the paid traffic. So you're going to see exactly what keywords are generating phone calls. And for most service-based companies, that's really where 90% of your sales come in, are going to be not from somebody looking up your ad and just going to your store, but looking up your ad, calling you, scheduling an appointment, or speaking with you first, and then going to your store. So that's pretty important of something to definitely get set up, and that's call tracking. And I'll probably have a specific hangout that I'll do just covering call tracking, just because I know a lot of people out there who aren't using it yet, and it's just now starting to get really popular. So I'm going to have to buckle down and actually put something out there just for call tracking, how to set it up. So the other way here, and I'll cover this a little bit backwards from my show notes, is going to be coupon codes. So coupon codes are simply that, just coupon codes. Now, when you set up a coupon code, this is kind of like the last resort. So anybody who's ever done any mailings or anything like that with specific zip codes or launched offline campaigns is very familiar with coupon codes. If you put something in a newspaper, for instance, you have a coupon code for them to use. And that coupon code itself is a unique code for that specific ad campaign. So if it was a newspaper that runs, week 7, it's for week 7 newspaper, and then you have a different code for week 8 and week 9 and week 10, but it all signals back to that specific traffic source. And the same goes with digital marketing. You can put in a coupon code, and so when they land on your breaks page, you can go ahead and have a coupon code just for breaks and just for that AdWords campaign, because they're going to a unique landing page that's just for AdWords, that's just for that coupon code that relates directly to that ad group that you're bidding on, or group of ad groups or campaign that you're bidding on. And in that manner, you're going to be able to track back, all right, well, this keyword led to this sale, or on Facebook, this particular group led to this sale because this person's using this coupon, therefore I can tie it back to this. Now, that's like the worst way of tracking, because you got to do it in your mind, and you got to break out the Excel spreadsheet and write it down. But at the very least, you have something. You have some way of tracking it, which can be important. Keep in mind, you can still do the email, you can do the call tracking, and you can also do the coupon codes. So you can use all three together to really, really try to hone in and see, okay, well, what's working and what isn't working. And that's the thing with small businesses, is you might have to break out multiple of these tracking strategies in order to get that really full picture. So the last one that I'm going to talk about, let me make sure we haven't gotten any Twitter questions yet. I think we're good. Oh, we got something. Oh, I don't even know. Sorry, guys. I lied. We just got a like. So something else there, lastly, that I'm going to be covering with you, and that's going to be page views and funnels. So there's a lot of different ways of setting up a conversion, and one of them might be if they land on ABC on page 1, and then and also visit page 2, then you can count that as a conversion. So if they visit page 1, page 2, and page 3, you can count that as a conversion. So you can kind of layer in multiple pages together and say, if they viewed this, this, and this, count as a conversion. And or if they view this, this, and this, add them to my remarketing group. So there's a lot of different ways of setting this up. So if you were doing, let's say you tried the email route for your divorce lawyer and it really didn't work, you weren't getting a lot of signups, or you could do that, the seven things you need to know before filing for your divorce. And the first thing would be on page 1, and then right there you have see what you need to know next. Number 2, boom, and they click on it, and then they view that second one, and then they view that third one, and you'll kind of find a balance in between there of at what point in time should I count that as a conversion, because they're highly engaged in your content, and those are the type of people that you want to be remarketing to. Those are the type of people you want to create similar ad groups for and lookalike audiences for. And even if that specific person doesn't necessarily call you, that doesn't mean that you can't create those lookalike audiences for those individuals, because AdWords and Facebook and the like can track kind of what the movements that people are doing online. So you're going to be able to identify through data points of what people are kind of looking for. Now, I guess with divorce lawyer, that might be a little off, because I don't think you can remarket with divorce attorneys. It's kind of iffy there, because you don't want to see a remarketing ad for a divorce and your husband views the computer and like, oh, what's going on? So there's limits to what you can remarket. So that maybe that's not the best example, right? But let's look at it through another one here. So if you're a cake company, for instance, what you could do is you could do something like a giveaway. And this would be good for Facebook, especially because Facebook's a more social group, and a lot of people on Facebook are on their mobile phones. Remember that, right? So like 70% of all people who are on Facebook are on their mobile phones. So having that call number there is really, really important. Having a mobile-friendly responsive page is really, really important. I've already covered that in the last Hangout, so you already know. But, one of the processes you can do with Facebook is you can do something, if you're a baker, you can go ahead and do, a free cake giveaway. And so, sign up to get a free cake. And there they go ahead, they sign up, and it could be through Facebook that they sign up. And then they're taken to a confirmation page. That confirmation page has the pixel on it. That pixel then registers and counts them as a conversion. And then is what you're doing is you're then doing an upsell. So you're like, hey, hey, thank you for entering for the free cake. This day, today only we're offering, a dozen donuts for $5. Then let's say that's just a couple bucks off because you need to make money, right? But what you're trying to do is you're just trying to pay for the ad copies, right? So you can continue marketing. You're just trying to get some money coming in the door. And that way you have a chance for an upsell. And that's really, really important. And that's something that I see a lot of small businesses not taking advantage of. They might do that email capture, but then they're not trying to sell. And really that's the point to do it. So go ahead and throw in that email capture and give them the option of actually purchasing, making a purchase from you. So, a dozen donuts, $5. And then, have a yes or a no. And then if they hit the no, then they go to another page, or you're added to another page. And that final page is like, oh, hey, thanks for entering the contest. Here's a free donut for you. So, give them a coupon for a free donut or free cupcake, something along those lines, because there, you're giving them a chance to come in the door and for a cake. So you get their email so you can remarket to them. And you're building your brand. Then you're trying to sell and give them an option of buying something. And then if they say no to that, you're giving them something else for free that they might actually come to your store with. So it's a coupon. They might give it to a friend, or they might try it themselves. And chances are, if it was for one donut and I walked in a store, well, I tell you what, I'm not just buying one donut, right? I might get a donut for free, but I know my son's going to want a donut. And I'm probably going to want more than one donut. So that's the way it works, right? And so really trying to get those upsells going. And the same can be done. Let's use another example here of a mechanic. So oil changes, everybody needs an oil change who has a vehicle, and what you can do there is, hey, free oil change or free synthetic high mileage oil change. Make it sound good, right? Enter for your chance to win. So they go ahead and they enter it, and from there is what you're doing is you have the offer page. Okay, 4 oil change, 4 synthetic high mileage oil changes for just $100. So you have that upsell chance, and hey, 4 oil change for $100, yeah, that's a pretty good deal, right? Especially if you're marketing to people who are local and in your area. Again, you're branding, you're putting your name out there, and you're giving them a chance to win it, which means you could recover them as a customer longer term. You're also doing an upsell. If they say no there, then maybe there's another upsell you can do, such as, hey, come in for a free quick entitles the individual to a free quick diagnostic or something like that, a quick look over of their vehicle, or something that you might be able to add that's of value. So even if it's something like vacuum cleaning, hey, come on over real quick, we'll vacuum out your vehicle for free. This coupon entitles you to a quick vacuum. It might not be perfect job, but hey, we'll vacuum it out real quick for you. Something along those lines as an upsell to be able to do. And using all these methods, the coupon code method, the page views, and the funnels, as well as call tracking and then email signups. These are all ways that you can really track your sales and track what keywords are leading to conversions in some way, shape, or form. And keep in mind, again, you can use all of these different conversion metrics, and you can use it for creating remarketing audiences. You can use it for creating audiences based upon your actual conversions. So when somebody calls and it's a conversion, you can build that group to then create a lookalike audience on Facebook, or similar to audience on AdWords to remarket to them on display. So there's a lot you can do there that's pretty interesting. So that's going to really end it for today. It was a nice quick show for us, and I just wanted to cover this because it was something that a lot of people had that I see a lot of small businesses having trouble with, and that's the tracking the sales. And they're like, well, I've tried AdWords and I don't know how to track it. Well, now you do, right? At least now you have some inclination of it. And really, like I said before, so many of these searches are being done on phones, and even if they're not on the phone, on the desktop computer, if you're a service-based company, chances are they are going to call you. So that's why having that Google forwarding number can be very, very fantastic. And that's kind of like solves so many of the tracking issues. So just being able to nail that one thing down is a boom and something you definitely need to be taking advantage of. So that's going to be it for today. We have no questions coming in, so if you do have any questions, feel free to ask them on the show notes page. Again, this is going to be MarketingPlayBook.co /episode 13. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask over there, and be sure to join our private Facebook group. And for that, you just go to the MarketingPlayBook.co website. There's a community link up on the very top of the website. Go ahead and click on that, and in there you're going to see our Facebook page, our Facebook group, our Twitter, and all that good stuff. So feel free and join there, and as well as our email newsletter, where I don't spam you at all. I do send out show notes, or I send out the topic for the next week's Hangout, which is Wednesday at 2 p.m., as well as just give you opportunities of, hey, what you need covered and stuff there. So be sure and check it out, and I thank you for attending. Take care.